Mr. Quick's class.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I tell you what, a person who believes that this wasn't set up by our own government is an idiot.
10th grade. 10th grade, produce your warriors. You can't watch your step, watch your step. Okay. Wait a minute. Introducing the warriors of the 10th grade. Of the 10th grade. 10th grade. Hello. All right. Okay. These are the warriors of the 10th grade. Oh, wait a minute. 12th grade. Produce your warriors. 12th grade. Produce your warriors. Hello.
Go.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So the 4 questions are that the 10th grade defenders are going to defend their answers to these questions. What was Henry David Thoreau's argument and position in Walden? What was his argument strong? What can we learn from his argument? Should readers, after reading Walden, accept his position? They're going to give us the answer to those questions, and after that, the opposing side will attack their answers, their positions. Okay, all right, let the battle begin. Okay, 10th grade, what say ye on those questions?
What do you say?
What?
Okay.
Okay.
The first question.
Okay, listen carefully.
Okay. To the first question, his position and argument was mostly upon conserving the environment, and he's basically showing everyone else that they can live simply and
without the material basis of society.
May we be on the question now?
Go ahead, second question.
Oh,
Second
we
question.
answer all the questions?
Yeah.
Was his argument strong? Yes, his argument was pretty strong. He got both sides of the argument. He didn't just go with his side. He got both sides. Just like in chapter 10, he got John Baker, the Irish.
Farm.
Yeah.
Well, we can learn how to live. We can learn how to live, deliberately, like he did in his. The way he did, in the woods, away from society, and how he didn't really depend that much on other people, and he basically depended on himself, on his own crops, on his own field. We can learn that we don't need to live as a society to actually live.
And the last point, should readers after reading Walden accept his position? I would say yes, because he gives us the understanding of how he could put it, and he makes us imagine how he lived in Walden.
Okay, so there are 4 answers or positions on those 4 questions. 12th grade, you're on the attack now, but you have to let us know which answer to which question you are attacking. You may begin.
We are attacking their first answer for the first question.
What is the first question?
The first question is what was Henry David Thoreau's argument and position in the book? In Walden? Now, James said that his position was to live simply and to show people how one can live without materialistic needs. Now, I think that while he may have said that in some sorts, it also has a much deeper meaning and a much deeper message that it's trying to convey. It is trying to convey a message of individualism. It's trying to convey a message of a person as an individual and how he can live as an individual in ways, I guess you could say simply, but also in ways where he can manage himself without many societal needs. And I just basically think that's the message he's trying to convey if we're looking at a deeper view of this book. That's my attack for his answer.
Okay, well, we want to give an opportunity for a defense. Since you did single out James, you can answer.
No, because we thought we were doing it as
Aren't we gonna attack
then
all four?
and then he's attacking and I'm attacking.
Okay, I guess it's fair.
I don't know how you want to do this.
Go ahead.
Now we're attacking the second question, which is, was his argument strong? And Abdurrahman said that his argument was strong because he stated both sides of the argument. However, we believe that his argument was not particularly that strong, because he did say in many occasions that even though he likes living in the wild and he likes living alone and out of society and being an individual, he said a lot that he still preferred his life at home, and after he was done, he still went home. So by the end of the book, you don't really know whether he liked staying in the wild more or staying in the city more, whether he liked being individualistic or one with community. You don't really understand which one he goes for, so his argument wasn't very strong.
I don't think he also spent enough time explaining the other position, his counter position, more than he explained his position on the issue. So I think he could have explained it more to strengthen his argument. The third answer that we're going to attack is what can we learn from his argument. So James said that we can learn to live simply and that we don't necessarily need to live as a society. Instead, we can live as an individual. And while I did state in my first answer that this book is trying to convey a message of individualism and to, of course, live simply as an individual, it's also, again, he's only tackling the basic cover of what this book is, the message of what this book is trying to convey. Sure, it's trying to convey a message of living simply and individually, but it's also trying to convey a message of an abstract view of how one can live simply and not exactly in solitude, but also as a community. He's tackling both positions in his book, and how one can learn from experience. I guess when he lived in the woods, he sort of mentioned a lot of what he did. He mentioned his daily life tasks and what he usually liked to do. And why he wanted to mention that, of course in different seasons, was to convey exactly how he lived and how he tackled the problems of living individually, which conveyed a message of how he wanted to, of course, live simply, and he's trying to...
Okay, 12th grade, unfortunately, you have run out of time to respond to the initial answers to the 4 questions. Now we need to give the 10th grade an opportunity to respond to their positions on those 4 questions. I'll let 10th grade decide who will do the defending in this second part of the battle.
Okay, so since the first question was, directed to my answer, I'm going to say that you basically just rerun through what I said in my third answer, which was his meaning was to live deliberately and individually through, which was basically his argument, is what you're saying. So I don't really understand how that's an attack to my position, what I just said, because you just re-said what I said.
And he's sure, the most important thing that he was talking about is that he wants to save the nature. He wants for us to consume less so we can save the nature. How he didn't have enough utensils at his hut, and lots of other examples from the book.
Okay.
Was his argument strong?
His argument was, which one did you have?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that what we can learn is a deeper abstract meaning of what the cover was, which is individualism and living socially and etc. Okay, so where would you get examples from those? Like how do you support what you're saying here? How do you support like what you're saying? Because like with my position, I'm saying I can support mine with chapters in the book such as what?
Like he's talking.
I can support my position with chapters in the book, like when he said, like many sections of the book where I can't exactly quote them right now, but he said, you know, he always like pushed forward the life of individualism and solitude, and although he did like visitors, like you said, he basically balanced them out. There was no preferred one in them.
That's how he stated both sides.
And the fourth question wasn't attacked.
Yeah, no. What can we learn from his argument? No, this one's the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So you heard the defense. What you say to 12th grade? What say you may attack?
So now I just want to give a broader view of what I was trying to say. When I meant that he was trying to convey a deeper message in his book, it meant that he didn't only want to talk about living simply. As he mentioned in different chapters, he also talked about both of his selves in a way, his spiritual self and his physical self. And he also talked about things such as reading and how one has to exactly know the author, for example. This example from the book. One has to know the author in order to understand the book and what he's written. So he doesn't only tackle one sort of issue, if you know what I'm trying to say. So that's basically what I was trying to say. I'm just giving a clearer meaning of what I meant by a deeper message.
Okay, so you just clarified.
Yeah, I'm clarifying because I don't think he understood what I said, because he thought I was only saying what he said. No, I'm saying there was this deeper message, and I explained what that deeper message was in a way.
And for the...
Okay, you want to change the defense?
Okay, yeah, he did tackle lots of issues in the book, but his main argument was living individually, having to live without material needs, and basically living off the land. That was his main argument points throughout the book. Although he did tackle reading and hearing and sounds and all that, but the main issue was still living individually and living off the land.
May I?
Yeah, okay, all right, 12th grade. Now that he has clarified his defense, you may attack.
Okay, so you say that the main idea of this book, or his position at least, is to live simply, right? To show how one can live as an individual simply. That's what you're trying to say. Okay, my attack on your argument is that's not exactly his position, because while that's one part of his position, it doesn't convey the entire message he's trying to convey. Because while he was living simply in Walden, he also tackled a large issue in this book, which in my opinion, could be, more important than the living simply part, such as when he described Walden Pond, for example, he described it in sort of a spiritual sense, and he was trying to sort of balance his physical and spiritual self in a way. So living simply helped him do that, helped him at least achieve a state where he's close to that. So I think that's the deeper message he's trying to convey.
And for the argument against your second point, where you stated that his argument remained strong and that he did, in many ways, say both parts of the argument, I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm saying that he did it so much and in so many ways that it became unclear what his argument even was. Like, as you said, at some points he says individualism and people should be alone, and then he goes and invites people to his house, and then he states again about individualism, and then he says, I am no hermit, and then he says, I like it here in the wild and I want to live here, and then he moves back to the city. So it's very, very unclear as to which he prefers, what does he want. Which is he saying is better? Is it better to live as an individualist alone from society in the woods, or is it better to live within society in the city? There's no one point in the book where it's fully clear whether he prefers living in the city or prefers living in the wild.
Okay, 10th grade, are you going to defend that?
Yeah.
In your position against that?
I'd like to answer Muhammad Khalid's I would like to defend his attack by saying, although he did at many times change his opinion and say, and he did move back to the city, in the beginning of the book, he did say that this was just an experiment. And he was planning on the beginning to go back, but he was just trying to prove that you can live simply, you can do this. It's not impossible. So, and although he did invite people, he said he's a hermit, but then he invited people. But when he invited people and he said, he's a hermit. He's no hermit when he said that in the 7th chapter. Mm-hmm. But on your opinion where he keeps changing his mind, no, he doesn't. He sticks with one thing, which is living individually, living simply, living off the land, and he keeps that throughout the book. But where he goes back to the city, he already stated in the beginning that this was just an experiment. It's going to be temporary.
Okay, I have an attack.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
On
how
you said
just to make sure of something. On
how you said number 1 that the authors it wasn't the spiritual meaning was the most important. No, as my colleague said, the experience was to live simply, to live individually, and see and show the people that he can do it. That was the main message and focus on the book. That's what his experience, not how he stated, how he described the pond, the forest, or anything. Not a spiritual way. That's not the most important thing, or his argument. No, his argument was that he went to the woods because he wished to live deliberately and to front only the essential facts of life. He wanted to show the people that he could live individually and he could live on less any material meanings. Okay.
Okay, 12th grade. Would you like to continue your attack, or do you?
Okay, so as Abdurrahman has said, he thinks that Henry's main argument was how one can live simply and how one can actually achieve it. It's not possible. That's your argument, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that as he made this experiment and as he lived simply, he also learned things that he used as an argument. And living simply just supported the foundation of the argument he made as he discovered what he learned about himself as he lived simply. So he also wanted to portray that in his book as well. And that's my...
Oh, okay.
Now to the point where was this argument strong, you stated that it was clear throughout the entire book that for the entire book he had the same opinion. However, no, it was not. And yeah, in the beginning he did state that this was an experiment and he did it to show that we can live alone. But he never said that we should. He never said that it is preferred. He's showing that we can. Yeah, humans can do a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that we should do a lot of things. He did this experiment to show that it is possible, that not all of the things that we say we can't live without, we actually can't live without. So that was the entire basis of his experiment. It wasn't, however, it was that his argument throughout the experiment, the book entirety, was not clear as to what did he want, what was he trying to do, because he went to the city at least 3 times a week, as he stated in the book. If he was so keen on living off the land and not visiting and staying alone, why did he go to the city so often? Why didn't he just live off the land like he stated? And he said on many occasions, I am no hermit, while he was still in the city and in the woods, and he invited people to the woods, which shows that he likes being around people. And then he says, oh, individualism is the best. I like being alone, sitting on my porch and reading. And then on the same day, people come to his house and he starts having a party. And then he meets people and he goes to their house and he starts talking to them. And then he says, I like being alone. So his argument was never fully clear. Maybe him, in his mind, he knew what he wanted, but it was never appeared to us, never shown to us, the audience, what he actually wanted to show.
Okay, all right, 10th grade.
Okay, so first of all, yes, he did tell people that they should do this. If you would have read the last chapter, 18, it was basically just a huge call of action, just telling you that you should do this, you should go and you should try this out, you should live deliberately, you should live in the woods. So that was false, first of all. Second of all, yeah, okay, he went to the city 3 times a day. Okay, but it's not like he got resources to live off from there. He just went to get the daily news or like the weekly news out of it.
Exactly. He couldn't live without the news and the events that happened in the city.
It was refreshing. He didn't say he couldn't live without it.
Then why did he? Why did he go? Because he couldn't live without it.
He could, and that's what
Then why
was
didn't
his
he?
experiment for. He wanted to show the people that he could do that.
Yeah, he wanted to show them that he could, and then he went to the city, so he shouldn't.
Well, at a time he has to go to the city.
Why?
How would he
Why?
show them that he could do?
What does going to the city have to do with showing them? He said, I can live off the land and not visit the city. Then why did he go to the city?
He had no problem of living off the land.
Then why did he go to the city 3 times a week? What was his purpose? Why did he go? So he wanted to live with the people. He wanted to know what they were saying. See, it was very unclear.
Okay, all right. Unfortunately, it is a break time battle, so we don't have unlimited time to finish this. I know. Thank you for this opportunity to hear the battle here. Now we have to make a decision, but we don't have to make the decision right now about who actually won the battle. No, we're not making the decision right now about who won the battle. But I think it's obvious to all of us who won the battle.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. That's good. All right. The Warriors from 10th grade and the Warriors from 12th grade. All right, give it up. And there. In Islamic school.
I'll talk about tomorrow. Yeah, that's rolling the hard way. We don't want to roll quite that hard. We want to get one of them little minibuses.
What's up?
A person who believes that this wasn't set up by our own government is an idiot.
Everybody's gone out of their mind.
Welcome to Mr. Quick's class.
Welcome to Mr. Quick's class. Welcome to Mr. Quick's class. Welcome, Mr. Quick's class. Oh yeah.